Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you guys are new here, welcome. My name's Braden Timmons, and here we are, guys. Here we are, 12 weeks. We are talking about Halloween. We are going to be reviewing every single Halloween movie from now all the way up until Halloween ends. I cannot tell you how excited I am to be here, man. I mean, this just feels bittersweet, almost. Like, you know, this is it. This is what this channel's been leading to for 4 years. We've been talking about Halloween ever since the Halloween 2018 trailer dropped, and now we're getting ready to review every single one as we journey to the very end. So, first things first, if you guys are new here and you guys love this franchise, and really if you guys just love horror in general, consider clicking that subscribe button because we're going to have a lot of fun here. Every single Monday, I'm going to be doing a review, and every single Wednesday, I'm going to be doing a kill ranking. So, you know, I'll remind you guys each week from time to time, so just keep that in mind. Bear with me. You're going to have to get through a little bit of an opening with me. But, guys, can't tell you enough how excited I am to talk about Halloween with you guys for these 12 weeks. This is really bittersweet for me because, you know, I feel like that this is like where this channel has been leading up to. But anyway, today we are talking about Halloween 1978, the film that started it all, the one, the only, the classic Halloween. You know, like how they do in the old teasers or the old TV spots. You guys know what I'm talking about.
The one, the only, the classic Halloween.
You guys can't tell me you guys haven't looked at any of the old TV spots. I can't be the only one that's that weird. But anyway, guys, okay, so where to begin with this movie, man? Where to begin? Now, when I thought about how I wanted to go about reviewing Halloween, I wanted to really focus on what makes this movie as timeless as it is. What makes Halloween so fucking special? Why is this movie just literally a lot of people's favorite horror movies? Like, you know, there's like Freddy, Jason. You've got those that really love Friday the 13th, and those that really love Nightmare on Elm Street, and those that really love Chucky. You know, but I do feel like that a lot of people's favorite slasher is Michael Myers. And I can tell you guys right now, Michael Myers is the one that scared me the most. He is the first slasher to really scare the shit out of me, and I know I've said that before on my channel. Jason I found to be really cool. Freddy I found to be absolutely hilarious. Michael Myers scared the fucking shit out of me when I was a kid, and I just really do think it was the I feel like it was just the breaths that like waft against the mask, like, you know, just like you could hear it. Michael Myers is the boogeyman. He literally embodies the, if you're walking home alone at night and you think someone's watching you, Michael Myers is that person. That's what Halloween taught us. And I mean, the movie's directed by John Carpenter. Let's start there. John Carpenter, he directs the shit out of this movie. John Carpenter is the freaking man. Prior to doing Halloween, he did a really cool low-budget action movie, Assault on Precinct 13, which is, if you guys have never seen it, a really great low-budget action movie. But John Carpenter's direction shines above almost anything in this movie. And like, before I get into his direction, I kind of want to do something that you might not see a whole lot of people do when they're reviewing a classic like Halloween, and I want to talk about some of the issues this movie has first, because Halloween is not a perfect movie, so because there's so much I can say that's good about it, so let's get the issues out of it right away. The issues, and there's only really two of them that I have. The issues is simply, one, the acting isn't really that great in some scenes, and you know, that's to be expected when it comes to slashers, but honestly, Jamie Lee Curtis's Laurie Strode's friends, they're pretty annoying. I mean, and their performances really aren't that great. If I can pinpoint an actor in this movie that really steals the show, it's Donald Pleasance's Dr. Loomis, but we're going to talk plenty about him here over these next several minutes. But yeah, the acting is really nothing to write home about, and neither is really the dialogue, but that's okay. And then really, if there's like a technical issue, it's a very, very small technical issue. It's when Michael Myers is following Annie and Laurie as they are heading, like, you know, to their babysitting houses. There's a transition that just goes from, like, you know, it is dusk, but Haddonfield's a very small town, so there's that transition to where it goes from dusk to night. like that. And it's just kind of like one of those like tech issues. It's just kind of like, you know, they shoot it and it's like, you know, you could still see the sun going down and then it cuts and it's literally pitch black out. Very small issues, but let's get back into talking about what's great about this movie, man. Because this movie has become timeless. And this movie tells the story of 6-year-old Michael Myers, who murders his teenage sister on Halloween night 1963. And then we jump forward 15 years and we see him escape Smith's Grove, return to Haddonfield, and stalk some babysitters and kill them. And along with that, we follow Dr. Samuel Loomis, played by Donald Pleasance, who has to convince people that evil has returned to the small town of Haddonfield, Illinois. And I mean it when I say that John Carpenter took what is literally such a simple premise and used background, out of focus shots to really capture the atmosphere of this movie. John Carpenter is so good at developing atmosphere. He is so good at what he does, and he really did something new that was really unseen at the time, of taking shots of just like really establishing what's going on. That inspires me as an aspiring filmmaker. You know, if you guys have seen any of my films, you guys know that I really like to showcase establishing shots, and a lot of that comes from John Carpenter, and I hope that you guys pick up on that when you guys see some of my stuff. That, you know, I really like to establish the atmosphere that this movie takes place in. And this movie has all of those wonderful atmospheric moments of a Halloween night. You know, you carve pumpkins, you watch horror movies, you trick or treat, and all that. It really embodies what makes Halloween so special. And then shit just really turns sideways when Michael Myers gets to town and starts fucking murdering all these people. And another reason that this movie has really essentially become as iconic as it is it really set up a whole genre. It set the stage for the entire slasher genre. And what do I mean by that? Well, let's see here. Laurie Strode is essentially, what do we call her nowadays? The Scream Queen. She is that first ever final girl. She's the one that started the final girl trope. And that set the stage for, you know, she was the smart one. She doesn't like to do drugs. She doesn't like to have sex, or she doesn't really know how to talk to boys. But her friends, they're all careless. They pretty much create the entire body count for what is in this movie. And that really set the stage for, if you have sex, you're more than likely going to be the first one to get killed. Or if you drink and you do drugs, if we see Scream, you know, and then Scream, we'll talk about that later on as we get up to Scream 6. But, you know, Randy, he then gave us the list of rules that all really started with Halloween. And it's funny because in Scream, that's exactly what they're watching. They're watching Halloween, which started this, and that's what makes it so smart. It started that entire trope of, okay, you have sex, you die, you drink, you die, all that shit. And I mean, it's crazy how iconic that this movie has become. But I really want to talk about two things right now. I want to talk about, well, three actually. I want to talk about John Carpenter's score. I want to talk about how Dr. Samuel Loomis and the psychology behind it and everything. And I want to talk about how this movie really examines evil and how that can affect somebody. So first things first is John Carpenter's score, man. It's as iconic as it gets. It is my favorite horror theme ever. It is the best horror theme I think that horror has to offer. But like, you hear this music and you just know what movie it's from. You know, like, you hear this iconic theme start and you immediately say that's the Halloween theme. Like, I don't think I've ever met a person in my life that has gotten that theme wrong, like, in terms of that. And the thing that also is crazy is that John Carpenter, this score has really become so iconic, even though John Carpenter said that he couldn't even write a note. So it's crazy that this movie really became as iconic as it is. And the movie was only made for like $300,000, which even at the time was incredibly low budget. I mean, the actors, they would get their own, they would go to JCPenney. I'm pretty sure Jamie Lee Curtis bought her entire wardrobe for like $70. And then the Michael Myers mask, a William Shatner mask. It was bought from a Halloween store for $2. And I freaking paid like $60 for my Halloween Kills one last year. You know, so it's really crazy that the budget for this movie was so low and how iconic it became. I mean, Donald Pleasance was the one that got paid the most, like, for, like, an actor because he was the most experienced. But, I mean, he's also just so good in the movie. I mean, especially the scene when he is talking to Sheriff Brackett and he's going through how he knows what Michael Myers is. He is going through what Michael Myers is and how he has examined him over the course of these last 15 years.
I spent 8 years trying to reach him, and then another 7 trying to keep him locked up because I realized that what was living behind that boy's eyes was purely and simply evil.
I literally just get chills watching this scene. I absolutely love it. I think that the delivery, the music, the haunted house sound, or the Myers house sound, because the soundtrack of Halloween is actually a mix of pretty much the same tones that you hear over and over and over again. Like, you know, so they have the haunted house, they have the Myers house. I call it the Myers house theme because it's the theme that plays when Sheriff Brackett and Dr. Loomis pull up to the house. But that entire score throughout that scene is absolutely magnificent. And when we really get to understand Michael Myers from the perspective of Dr. Loomis, because we see Dr. Loomis throughout the course of the movie and he's freaking out, and, you know, he's got a lot of great iconic lines, like when he's talking to Dr. Wynn at Smith's Grove, and, you know, we see that he's really afraid of who escaped Smith's Grove the night before. But it's really in the scene with Sheriff Brackett that we really start to understand that this guy is more than what anybody believes that he is. And Dr. Loomis sees that, and he's trying to convince everybody that that death has come to the little town of Haddonfield, Illinois. And, you know, just the way that it's portrayed and the way that examines evil from Dr. Loomis's perspective is exactly the overall, I think, message of this movie and why this movie has really become so timeless, because it really does a great job at examining that and what it really does and how it affects a lot of different people and how it affects somebody and how it can really take over Michael Myers as a person. You know, because he's not looked at as a person by Dr. Loomis. He's looked at as a supernatural being. He is looked at as something that is more than a man, that is essentially completely and simply pure evil, as Dr. Loomis puts it. But no, guys, I mean, this movie is not violent, and I think that that's also crazy that this movie is still as iconic as it is today, because, you know, it's not a violent movie. It's very theater of the mind like, and that's what I really love about it, is like it doesn't go over the top. It's very theater of the mind in terms of, like, you watch certain things happen on screen and you have to kind of put together as to what's actually going on. Like when he kills Annie in the car, the jolt of music, and he also, that's another thing Carpenter was very iconic about, is he started to, like, instead of using the mix of music as it comes up, he decided to have the music jolt happen as the action happens. So like when Myers pops up in the back of Annie's car, that's when the music starts as well. And it also is very effective to, like, make you jump out of your seat. So, you know, this movie, guys, I just love this movie. It is the perfect movie to put on Halloween night, sit down, watch, get in the atmosphere, because it's got all of the great elements of a Halloween night. You know, you just want to get a blanket, you want to get a bowl of popcorn, you want to put it in, and you just want to have a really good time. So, you know, gosh, I really don't know what else I can say about this movie that I haven't said about it on my channel. But, I mean, when it comes down to it, Halloween is essentially the perfect horror movie. While, yes, I did cover some issues with it, in my opinion, it is absolutely amazing. It is a masterpiece. This movie was made for $300,000 and grossed $47 million in the United States alone, making it one of the most profitable movies in cinema history, guys. This movie is insanely popular. It created one of the most iconic monsters with just a William Shatner mask. Really, it's a miracle how this movie became so iconic, because so much of it was left up to chance. So much of it was just simply left up. And I mean, even the original title of it was, the original script title was called The Babysitter Murders, written by John Carpenter and Deborah Hill. And then it was later Irwin Yablans, one of the producers, that gave them the idea to take the Babysitter Murderers and have it set on Halloween night and call it Halloween. And I think that that was one of the smartest decisions ever, because Halloween, just the title nowadays, like, I mean, sure, if it was called the Babysitter Murderers, I feel like it would be iconic, but I just think that the title of Halloween is just so much more catchy, and you just think of Halloween. And yeah, sure, a lot of people think of the holiday. When I think of Halloween, and I'm sure a lot of other horror fans are the same way, when I think of Halloween, the first thing I think of is Michael Myers, the Boogeyman, Dr. Loomis, Laurie Strode, Michael Myers chasing after Laurie Strode in that insanely great and chilling soundtrack, The Shape Stalks. I mean, guys, the soundtrack is as iconic as it gets when it comes down to horror. I mean, I wouldn't even say that Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street, I wouldn't even say they have anything close to as iconic as Halloween, in my opinion, at least in terms of soundtrack. You know, I mean, Jason, he has the and then, yeah, Freddy has the doon, 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 like, right? But I feel like that nothing compares to the Halloween soundtrack and just the movie in general. I mean, it really is the godfather of what followed and what people tried to mimic with Halloween. That's how iconic it is. So, you know, at the end of the day, guys, it is an absolutely fantastic movie. I watch it so many times a year, and I just can't wait to cover the rest of this with you guys. So, you know, I was very nervous coming into this review, and I hope I didn't miss anything, because I really want to do these reviews justice. I want to talk about it. If I miss anything, I'm sure I'll have different video segments on it over the course of the next 12 weeks, because I just really want these reviews to be absolutely amazing. I feel like that this is what this channel has been building to, and I mean, this movie is just iconic to cinema, it's iconic to horror fans, and it really, really is just the perfect Halloween movie. So yeah, guys, that's how I view Halloween, and it really is the first movie to genuinely scare the holy shit out of me as a kid. I was genuinely terrified of Michael Myers. Couldn't go to sleep because I would always just hear those breaths. Like, I would think that he was in my closet or something like that. So yeah, guys, that is how I see Halloween. I just view it as the best horror movie of all time. It is my favorite. There's nothing like it in my opinion. And I have to say that Halloween is pumpkin smashing. Well, guys, that's one down over several to go over the course of the next 12 weeks. For the first 4 weeks, I'm actually going to be pretty happy that I'm sitting down and, you know, talking about these. It's really when I get to Halloween 5 on that I start to have some pretty big issues. So, yeah, let's enjoy the first 4 weeks while we can. Stay tuned for Wednesday because I have the kill ranking up and coming. And yeah, with all that being said, post comments down below. Let me know, what do you guys think of Halloween? Do you guys love it? Do you guys hate it? Do you guys think and see it as I do? And the examinations that went through this movie, that like the overall embarking messages that was posted throughout. So with all that being said, leave your comments in the comment section. I'd absolutely love to read them. And as always, if you guys like this, don't forget to join me on my journey to 10,000 subscribers, and I will see you guys on Wednesday in the kill ranking.